Hey guys, today we're going to have a battle, if you will, of the Pocket EDC fixed blades, a knife battle where I take kind of a subjective list of basic points, take a look at a couple of similar knives, and kind of rate them against this basic, what would you call it, random scale, see what we come up with, and see how these two little knives score on materials, ergonomics, carry options, sheath, aesthetics, sliciness, durability, and value. So we're looking at two knives today. We're looking at the Boker Barlow BFF, a great little knife from over in Solingen, Germany. A little small, foraging, just basic cutting knife. This little guy on Amazon, I found it. Lowest price was $242.25. It's an ABE-L. The second knife we've got is the Italian made, one of the executives over at Monterey Maniago Knife Company started this little StraightLine knife company, and they have come out with a couple of small knives. The Erny, which is the one I have. They have another one that's an alley that's in a Warncliffe, but it's about the same size, a little bit different materials. It clocks in, I found it at White Mountain Knives for $185. So, you know, they're about $60 difference in price, but we'll talk about the two of them, we'll grade them out, and then at the end we'll kind of see which one is the best value. So, when you take into consideration materials, the Boker Barlow comes with this really nicely stitched leather sheath, a pocket dropper, with a pocket clip. The StraightLine Erny comes with a very nice leather sheath made over in Italy. It does not have a pocket clip. It has a series of magnets. So one of the magnets will allow you to carry it dangling on a belt, or the way I carry it is a pocket dropper, and let this act as my clip per se. So both of them retain very well. We'll get to that in a second because one does do it a little better. But let's just look at the knives and the materials in the knives. I'd say the materials in the sheaths are going to be a wash because they're both leather. So here you've got a lot of similarities, yet you've got a few pretty obvious differences. For one, you've got screwed on handles versus copper pinned handles or brass pin handles on the Boker. The Boker is canvas micarta, which is done extremely well. It's pinned together with brass pins, beautiful stonewashed ABE-L blade. Here you have much thinner scales. They're a little bit contoured, but only around where those screw holes are. A little bit more minimalistic of a knife. It does, however, have an M390 blade. So I would think for your edge retention and things like that, it might not be as strong per se, but it's definitely going to hold an edge better. But when I look at materials at these two knives, I've got more micarta here. I've got brass pins, which personally I like a screw-on scale, but I prefer a well-done brass. To me, it's just classier. It's a little bit more traditional. It's a little bit more high-end. I realize that the M390 is going to be more desirable than the ABE-L, but for me, when I look at materials side by side, I have to give this point to the Boker BFF. Just because it's done so well, this pinned together construction with this nice lanyard hole just really works well. So then we come to ergonomics. Ergonomics, this little handle is extremely functional. It is not super thin, it's contoured. It's going to come in right around right under half of an inch, which for me is perfect for carrying. This little knife here is very comfortable in the hand. Don't get this wrong, because I'm getting ready to show you why. This little guy is 0.38, so it's a good bit thinner. You do have a lanyard hole in the StraightLine, but it's here at the end, so you've got to kind of either take off your handle to fish your lanyard through. But the bottom line is the Boker has this nice finger guard here that really keeps my hand from feeling like it's going to slide up. That coupled with this thicker, rounder, wider handle than this little Erny, which is much more nimble, much more light, but I don't have as much of a trigger between this transition of this cutting edge and this plunge grind. And it being thinner, I just don't feel like I have as much grip on it, and it gives me a little bit of a hot spot if I death grip it. So ergonomics are also, on this particular subjective Javon look, going to come in as a win there. So then carry options. Carry options means how many different ways can I carry the knife, the way that it comes from the factory. So with the Boker BFF, you've got the pocket dropper, drop it in your pocket, clip it in, it works great. With the StraightLine Erny, you've got the same pocket dropper, drop it in your pocket, it works great. However, if you like to carry a sheath dangling off the belt, the StraightLine gives me one more choice. With these strong magnets, you can mount this on your belt, carry it on your belt. So in all truth, this gives you two different carry options the way it's set up, where this only gives you one. So when we look at carry options, I can confidently give that to the Erny just because it's got 2/1, but that takes me right back to the sheath. So for me, the sheaths are both made exceptionally well. One of them's a German-made sheath, the other's an Italian-made sheath. I really like the configuration of the magnets. The square sheath is very easy to drop in the pocket. Put the magnets in, it holds it in your pocket deep. Let me just give you an idea of what we're talking about. I usually carry it in my back pocket, but I just drop that in like that. So that's how that knife rides in my pocket. However, the Boker rides in my pocket like that. The difference is the steel clip is going to give me a lot more retention. So the steel clip, I can pull the knife out of the sheath, whereas with the StraightLine, I've got to kind of hold my sheath because the whole thing will pull out because of the magnet. Now that's not a problem when I've got it in my pocket. It's never been a holdback for me because when I grab it, I just use my thumb and pull it out. But if we're going to talk about the sheath, I think about retention. When I think about retention, both of them retain great, but I'm thinking here, how does it retain in my pocket? And the Boker has got a tighter clip, so it's going to have a more secure stabilization, and it's going to draw better. Now we come to probably the most subjective variable on the list, and this most subjective is aesthetics. Which one looks better? The Boker, I think everybody can say, looks like a knife. Looks like a very basic, get it done knife. The Erny, to me, looks a little different. It's got that reverse tanto, that cantered blade. When I look at aesthetics, the reason I picked up this knife, instead of the Wharncliffe version, the Alley, I had them both for review, knowing I was going to buy one. And I ended up buying this one after having about a week with it because of, A, the way it cuts. It's very slicey, but more importantly, the way it looks. So aesthetics, for me, and again, these are all very subjective, guys. Y'all leave your thoughts in the comments if I missed any of these, because again, they're just me putting my thoughts on this knife. For just a second, I want to say thank you to all the channel members. And I want to thank any of you who've taken the time to last this long in my video, to watch my video, to like my video if you'd like to. I appreciate it. But carrying on, now we have to go to slicing this. Now this is probably one of the more easy to measure metrics, I guess, that we look at. But at the same time, it's going to probably be offset by our next one, durability, which is toughness. So the Boker is very slicey. Now, full disclosure, the Boker is about a half flat grind. So you've got this flat that runs all the way here, so it's going to be thicker behind the edge than our little Erny. Our little Erny's thinner stock, full flat, and much slicier. And that is simply blade geometry, guys. They're both very slicey. I'd almost say the Boker performs very well on the thicker materials. So does the Erny. I think that comes back into grip and ergonomics. The fact that on that Boker, you can get more of a positive grip. You can just grab the knife harder than you really can the Erny and still be comfortable. But both fantastic knives, both great cutters. I'm going to have to give the Erny the Sliceness Award because it definitely wins it with its blade durability and its blade geometry and the overall thickness of those two blades. This has a 90-degree crown or spine where your Erny has a rounded spine here. The blade stock is pretty similar because we're getting ready to get into toughness. And if the blade stock's similar, 0.10, 0.10. Okay, so these blade stocks are very similar. The M390, one of the advantages that it's going to have is it's going to have, it's going to hold an edge better. It's probably going to be maybe a little bit stainless. They might be about the same stainlessness. But when we're looking at durability, i.e. toughness, the ABE-L is going to be a tougher steel. It's not going to hold an edge as long, but it's going to be a tougher steel than the M390 in my opinion. I think this particular knife being a little bit thicker, you know, overall durability, I think I can probably bang this through more than I can bang this through. This might slice tomatoes better, but this is definitely going to be a more durable, tougher knife in my opinion. So I'm going to give the durability hardness test, toughness test to the Boker. That brings us to value, guys. This is another one that's going to be kind of subjective, but I'm going to probably run a little bit adjacent of you guys here because I look at the Boker Barlow BFF for $242.25. This is a fixed blade. When I first got into fixed blades, that was a grail for me. It was always a little expensive in my mind. I did not feel that this little ABE-L Micarta basic knife, basic bitch knife, but that works very well, that I wanted for a lot of different reasons, was $242. So I found this on a Black Friday deal for about $199 and bought it on the spot. When these came out, they're $185 at White Mountain Knives, where they reside now, where I know they have them in stock. They have them at other dealers too, but White Mountain Knives has them, and I have a 10% discount at White Mountain Knives, which at $185 you can save 18 bucks. I don't know, do math in my head, but that brings it down to what, somewhere around 170. Again, thinner handles, bolt-on handles, but for an EDC carry knife that fits in your pocket, that's great for opening packages, great for opening cardboard, breaking down cardboard, opening really whatever you need to have it open and giving you some multiple carry options. I think the overall value is going to go to the StraightLine Italian-made fixie over the Boker Barlow BFF. Which brings us to another weird situation. And I forgot to write in. All right, so all ties, while subjective, are decided by me. All right, so we have a tie here, guys. Our total score, based on my arbitrary list of things and the way we graded them, comes out 4 and 4. So I could easily say, well, I carry this knife more, I'm going to give it to this knife, or I'm going to give it to this knife. But I can honestly say, and I have no problem saying, that I can give these two knives my first ever winner tie, because both of these knives are winners, in my opinion. I like them both. The Boker's available on Amazon. The little StraightLine's available at White Mountain Knives. It's also available at Blade HQ and some of the other bigger knife stores. I try to stay with some of the smaller ones. But you cannot go wrong with either one of these knives if you're looking for a small EDC fixed blade that drops well into your pocket, so you can carry it either in your primary pocket, your left pocket, or like I do in my back pocket. Both of them are going to be 6-inch little knives with 3-inch blades, roughly, right under 3-inch blades, 3-inch handles. So for me, they're 4-inch knives. For you, they may be 3-inch knives. They both have a place for a lanyard, and they both have fantastic leather sheaths. Guys, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sitting through my knife battle, see which one comes out on top here, and putting up with me and my crazy math and my crazy way of judging these. But do me a favor, do me a favor, do me a favor. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. And there's a video popping up right over there. If you want to really help me out, give it a watch. It would help. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Till next time, peace.